In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, Vietnam boosts agricultural innovation with global research insights. Later on, coastal provinces push to resolve IUU violations ahead of EC inspection. And in a world news, the US to proceed with tariff plan against Mexico and Canada.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is currently 3 p.m. local time and you're tuning into 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Dylan Lê with the latest updates. Now, the Lý Vạn in Vietnam, Thác Long China cross-border gate, which will enhance transportation and trade between both countries, was officially inaugurated in Cao Bang province on Thursday. Located in Hạ Long district in Vietnam and Đại Tân district in China's Guangxi province, this new border gate provides the quickest access to key tourist destinations in both regions. In addition to boosting tourism, it will strengthen trade and cultural exchanges, fostering economic growth and sustainable development for both nations. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính affirmed on Thursday that the Gia Binh International Airport in Bắc Ninh province, along with its connecting roads, is expected to be completed and fully operational by next year. The new airport will be expanded to meet international standards, specifically aiming for a 4E classification under the International Civil Aviation Organization. Spanning over 360 hectares, the airport will also feature a logistics center. Plans are already in place to clear land for the road linking Gia Binh Airport to Hanoi, with the goal of completing this by June the 30th of this year. Vietnam's agricultural, forestry, and seafood exports have brought in over $9 billion in the first 2 months of this year, marking an 8.3% increase compared to the same period last year. After a slow start in January, the sector is on track for a strong first quarter. Key products such as crops, seafood, timber, and livestock have seen export growth ranging from 4.5% to 18.6%. Exports to the United States and Japan increased nearly 19%, while exports to China fell 4.3% due to new regulations impacting major export industries. Vietnam has been recognized by international organizations as the country with the highest adoption rate of innovative agricultural initiatives between 2003 and 2023. These innovations have not only helped Vietnam escape poverty, but also positioned it as one of the world's leading agricultural exporters. This success serves as motivation for continued innovation in applying international research, ensuring alignment with sustainable development goals.
Over the past 20 years, Vietnamese farmers have widely adopted 19 key agricultural innovations across 6 sectors, including laser land leveling technology, mini combine harvesters, disaster risk mapping, climate change adaptation, and various other initiatives.
Backed by science are very often an engine for growth, and they can benefit farmers. And what we see in Vietnam compared to the other country is this remarkable growth of the agricultural sector through commercialization of cash crops.
I think in Vietnam, actually, there are a lot of really encouraging signs about linkages to the market, linkages to private sector firms, linkages to investment from the private and the public sector, and I think going forward, that's where we're likely to see the most encouraging results. Is private and public sector.
Having successfully ensured food security, Vietnam's agriculture must now pivot toward economic and environmental values. In addition to maintaining productivity and output, a key challenge for stakeholders is fostering market-driven innovations.
The growing pressure of climate change and the increasing diversity of market demands require us to develop crop breeding strategies that not only align with market needs, but also anticipate the impacts of climate change.
In the future, win-win cooperation models will become less common, meaning Vietnam must invest more in its own agricultural advancements. Over the past decade, science and technology have contributed more than 30% to the added value of agricultural production and 38% to crop and livestock breeding. CGR continues to be a strategic partner in scaling up innovations and shaping policies for major agricultural initiatives in Vietnam.
With total social consumption accounting for over 60% of GDP, stimulating domestic demand is crucial to achieving this year's 8% growth target. While exports and public investment show positive momentum, household spending remains sluggish. Businesses and policymakers seek effective solutions to drive consumption while balancing income growth and savings.
More and more travelers prefer exploring regional destinations and only book complex tours requiring expert guidance. To keep up with demand, travel companies are constantly designing new itineraries to sustain growth. Along with adapting their services, businesses are also calling for stronger incentive policies to boost domestic tourism.
Tax policies, VAT reductions, and attractive pricing at state-managed tourist sites are key factors in stimulating domestic tourism demand.
Statistics show that domestic demand remains sluggish, with retail sales growing just 6% over the past 2 years. Many households continue to tighten spending, prioritizing savings. In response, industries like garment manufacturing are adapting, focusing on minimalist daily wear and digitizing design to boost productivity and cut costs. Businesses now call for greater market transparency to drive growth.
We hope for stricter market regulations to prevent the unauthorized use of brand names on e-commerce platforms and protect both businesses and consumers.
Along with efforts to boost income and savings, stimulating consumer demand requires additional measures.
From a policy perspective, it may be necessary to accelerate the revision of the personal income tax law and increase the family deduction threshold to allow people more savings.
In the face of weak domestic demand, stimulus and growth policy packages should be designed for immediate impact, while carefully managing inflation risks.
Thanh Hóa Province is currently seeking to hire 45,000 workers for its industrial zones, including the Nghi Sơn Economic Zone, which alone requires 6,600 workers. However, only 800 positions have been filled so far. Local businesses are working closely with the government and labor unions to attract more workers. The province is prioritizing skilled workers and offering additional benefits to retain employees. Vietnam's benchmark VN Index held steady at 1,300 points in this morning's session, with liquidity reaching $390 million. Investor sentiment remains optimistic ahead of FTSE Russell's upcoming market classification review in March. What criteria has Vietnam met for an upgrade, and what steps should be taken to attract new capital flows if the reclassification succeeds? Our industry experts have more.
According to FTSE Russell, Vietnam has fulfilled all 9 criteria required for an upgrade from a frontier market to an emerging market. Additionally, Vietnam's recent signing of the Multilateral Memorandum of Understanding on Supervision with the International Organization of Securities Commissions has further strengthened its market position.
It actually showcased SSC's commitment to cross-border collaboration, and it's also shown that your capital market is open to foreign investment.
Listed companies are also increasing English language disclosures, which is another key factor in the classification process. Investment funds emphasize that Vietnam must diversify its market supply to capitalize on new capital inflows.
We would like to see more companies IPO to enlarge the market even more. And this is also important in terms of raising capital for if we're going to meet these aggressive growth targets, then we have to list more companies. We need to help companies raise capital through the stock.
Currently, foreign investors hold over 7% of the total value of securities under custody, with 41,000 active foreign accounts. The implementation of Circular 68 allows institutional foreign investors to place orders without pre-funding. This not only ensures smoother operations, but also enhances Vietnam's reputation among global investment funds.
First, foreign investors shouldn't have to wait a whole 3 months to finalize a procedure. Secondly, if we receive more capital than calculated, reciprocal capital should be applied to ensure smooth transactions.
Morgan Stanley's projections indicate an estimated $9 billion in foreign capital annually if reclassification succeeds. This influx would provide crucial financial resources for medium and long-term projects, supporting Vietnam's goal of achieving at least 8% economic growth.
Before we move on, let's have a look at the exchange rate between the Vietnam dong and some world currencies in today's market. Coming up next on VTV News. Coastal provinces push to resolve IUU violations ahead of EC inspection. And later on, Vietnam's MPs to take over aviation security starting March the 1st. Now, welcome back to VTV News. On to other important updates. In Quang Ngai Province, 129 illegal fishing boats operating without registration, inspections, or permits have been banned from harvesting seafood at sea. The Provincial Department of Fisheries reports a total of 499 unregistered boats throughout Quang Ngai, including vessels that don't meet required registration standards. The island district of Lý Sơn has the highest concentration of these illegal boats, with over 110 vessels. Most are small boats operating in nearshore waters. The provincial government plans to resolve the unregistered boat issue by March the 10th this year. By the end of March, a delegation from the European Commission, or EC, is expected to arrive in Vietnam to assess its compliance with international obligations in the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated, or IUU fishing. In response, 7 central coastal provinces from Thừa Thiên Huế to Ninh Thuận are intensifying measures to lift the EC's yellow card warning.
Following the 4th EC inspection, 8 central provinces have focused on 4 key areas: managing fishing vessel fleets, monitoring fishing activities, tracing seafood origins, and enforcing legal regulations. Notably, the provinces of Quang Ngai, Bình Định, and Quang Nam have reported 712 violations.
We have observed significant improvements in the areas of concern raised by the EC. We have addressed various violations, including those related to fishing in foreign waters, the operation of unregistered vessels, and the unloading of catches outside designated ports.
In preparation for the EC's 5th inspection, the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has instructed local authorities to prioritize eliminating vessels without proper registration, licensing, or monitoring equipment. Additionally, strict oversight is now required for vessels that have lost connection to tracking systems and for ensuring seafood traceability.
Our company has implemented a traceability system and categorized seafood clearly for both export and domestic consumption. We are confident that we can provide the necessary documentation to meet EC requirements.
The focus is on addressing the underlying issues rather than merely responding to inspections. Furthermore, the 8 central provinces are transitioning from traditional fisheries management to a modern, regulated fishing industry.
Due to a tidal surge in early February, saltwater intrusion in Vietnam's Mekong Delta is expected to intensify over the next 3 to 5 days, reaching the deepest levels of the dry season. The saltwater could extend as far as 40 to 43 kilometers along the Cửa Đại and Cửa Tiểu rivers, with salinity levels reaching 4 grams per liter, making water unsuitable for both agricultural and household use. On the Ham Luang River, saltwater intrusion could extend up to 60 to 62 kilometers, while along the Go Chien and Ho rivers, it could reach 50 to 53 kilometers. The worst of the intrusion will occur in late March and early April. Freshwater access from irrigation systems in the area will be limited. However, by March the 5th, salinity is expected to decrease, allowing local farmers to access fresh water during low tide. Sóc Trăng Province is expanding access to clean water as part of its effort to combat drought and saltwater intrusion. Various solutions have been implemented to gradually address water shortages, especially in remote rural areas.
Quach Than Dung was overjoyed hearing that a new clean water pipeline was being installed near his home. For years, his family had relied solely on well water. Now, their long-awaited dream of having access to clean water has finally come true.
With clean water available, we no longer have to worry about iron contamination. Our children's health will improve, and we won't be exposed to harmful substances anymore.
In urban areas, water supply remains a pressing long-term concern. Surface water is increasingly affected by saltwater intrusion, while groundwater is both depleting and deteriorating in quality, making it challenging to secure a stable supply. During peak drought and salinity periods, maintaining a continuous water supply becomes especially difficult, necessitating more effective solutions.
We have proposed sourcing water from Phie Forestry, Cho Thang District. This will help prevent saltwater intrusion and reduce the over-extraction of groundwater wells.
We have approved fast-track procedures to upgrade several water stations and create new water sources. Additional stations and wells will also be developed.
Sóc Trăng Province is investing in new infrastructure and expanding existing facilities through its rural and urban clean water supply project. Beyond local government initiatives, residents' commitment to using water efficiently will be crucial to navigating the upcoming dry season safely.
Aviation security responsibilities will transfer from the Ministry of Transport to the Ministry of Public Security on March the 1st. The Immigration Department has outlined measures to ensure a smooth transition without disruptions. The department is also reviewing and revising security screening procedures to both maintain regulatory compliance and enhance passenger convenience.
At Nobai International Airport's International Departure Terminal, security checkpoints are consistently crowded. Passengers must first line up to present their passports and required travel documents. The process doesn't end there. Just a few dozen meters ahead, they must queue again to undergo exit procedures.
With so many procedures at the airport, we have to arrive hours in advance just to make it on time.
There are multiple security layers, each requiring us to present documents. It's quite time-consuming and nerve-wracking.
As part of an effort to streamline government operations and enhance efficiency, the Immigration Department will directly oversee aviation security management. All existing personnel from the Civil Aviation Authority will be retained to ensure continuity. Meanwhile, the department will gradually streamline procedures to maintain both security standards and traveler convenience.
With aviation security now under the Ministry of Public Security, we will restructure both personnel and procedures. Our goal is to integrate immigration control with aviation security screening, reducing the number of checkpoints while maintaining strict security standards.
Aviation security is a highly specialized field governed by stringent regulations, including international standards set by the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. With well-prepared personnel and upgraded equipment, the Immigration Department is ready to take on its new responsibilities starting March 1st.
Besides its natural beauty, rich culture, and friendly people, Vietnam's cuisine is a key highlight driving tourism growth. It also attracts foreign visitors, prioritizing culinary tourism in Vietnam's tourism development strategy to 2030, which aims to enhance the country's competitive edge and brand.
Vietnamese cuisine is more competitive than other countries in the region that are strong in food tours, such as Thailand, which is gradually becoming a popular destination, and Singapore, where the cost is double Vietnam's.
Koreans love traveling to Vietnam due to its proximity, short flight time, and favorable visa policies. Additionally, Vietnam offers a wide range of accommodations, from budget to luxury, and a diverse cuisine that is highly popular among Korean tourists.
Flavors of Vietnam is Abercrombie & Kent's latest luxury travel offering, launched in Q4 2024 for American travelers. This 8-day culinary tour, priced from $6,995 USD per person, is limited to 18 guests per tour.
Abercrombie & Kent is a global tour operator. We're operating in nearly 75 countries around the world. The company's been operating for 60 plus years. And actually, we've been operating here in Vietnam. We've been sending customers here since the mid-90s. So we have a long history with Vietnam, and it's one of our favorite destinations worldwide.
The tour, which starts in Hanoi and ends in Ho Chi Minh City, with a stop at Ha Long Bay, allows visitors to compare Vietnam's two major cities.
The feedback has been really, really good. Our guests have commented that they love the food. They loved not only the luxury food in the Michelin-starred restaurants. We love for our guests to try bún chả, chả cá lavong.
Despite its potential, street food development remains scattered and ad hoc, while food hygiene and safety pose significant challenges. The culinary tourism workforce is also insufficient, with many unskilled, seasonal, and untrained staff. To achieve sustainable growth, a comprehensive and effective approach is needed.
Coming up next in our world news. The U.S. to proceed with tariff plan against Mexico and Canada. And in all the other news, G20 meeting ends without consensus. Now, moving over to our world news, U.S. President Donald Trump announced yesterday that tariffs on Mexico and Canada will take effect as planned on March the 4th, citing continued drug smuggling from both countries into the U.S. In response, Canada vowed an immediate and extremely strong reaction, while Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum expressed confidence that a deal could be reached to halt the tariffs. The Christian Democratic Social Union, or CDU-CSU, which won the recent German parliamentary elections, will start preliminary talks on forming a coalition government with the third-place Social Democratic Party, SPD. Each side will send 9 representatives to the first round of exploratory negotiations. If successful, these talks will lead to formal coalition negotiations. The process is expected to be challenging, but a CDU-CSU-SPD alliance remains the most viable option. The G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meeting in Cape Town, South Africa, concluded without a joint communique. Instead, the summit issued a chair's summary in which delegates reaffirmed their commitment to combating protectionism. Regarding the global economy, the summary noted varying levels of progress among different economies and acknowledged discussions on multiple risks and trends.
The matter which gave occasion to
These films and photographs were damaged by mud during the historic flood that struck Valencia, Spain last October. And now photography students are working to restore these ruined images, helping residents recover memories that would otherwise be lost to the disaster.
Yellowed and stained with mud. This is the state of countless photographs and albums after last year's devastating floods swept through towns and villages in Valencia. To preserve these precious memories, a restoration project has been launched with the support of volunteers, including students from the Polytechnic University of Valencia.
We recognize ourselves in these photos. That one could be our child. These could be our parents on their wedding day. This could be us on a study trip. This dichotomy and tension that have always existed in family photo albums is what I believe makes them cultural artifacts.
Technicians carefully restore each photograph through multiple stages. Faded tones of old albums have been replaced with neon pink, yellow, and blue hues. Artificial intelligence has also been incorporated into the process.
A few weeks ago, we started the second phase of the project, in which we began using open-sourced generative artificial intelligence.
To date, volunteers have collected 230,000 photographs and 1,800 albums from Valencia residents. Many of these items are still in the restoration process, awaiting the day when they can be returned to their owners.
Up next, let's have a look at the weather forecast for Vietnam and other locations in the world. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website or YouTube channel or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.